Welcome back to Testimony Tracks, where we talk about faith, hip hop, and the testimonies behind the tracks. I'm Everett. This is my co-host Jason, and today we've got a very amazing guest. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it up for Loralai.
Thank you, Everett.
All right. Well, for the audience, I guess we should start out saying how we know each other. So Lorelai has been an intern at our church this summer.
Loralai is the only intern at Bammel. For the first year, we've only had one intern, and
This
it's
is
been
true.
it's been a very different experience than the other years, but I think it's been a great experience nonetheless.
Yeah. So Lorelai, when did you first become a Christian rapper?
So I'm starting off my journey. So I still haven't really gotten I'm still getting into rap, So honestly, I'm very amateur, I'm really new at all this, but
Everett, I thought we had pivoted to
Okay.
like professional musicians at this point. Are
Oh,
you vetting these guests before they get on the schedule?
what? Sorry, hold on. Um, so Lorelai asked us if she can be a guest on the podcast, and I was like, yeah, sure, if you just email us. We've waited a couple of weeks. It hasn't emailed us.
Gen Z doesn't email.
Yeah,
They don't
Gen Z
believe in it.
doesn't email. They don't believe in email.
Okay. All
So
right. Let's get serious here for a minute.
the first question we'd like to ask you, Lorelai, what was your experience of faith in church growing up? I know you were a preacher's kid, so what was that all about?
yes. So first, I'll start off by saying, as you can tell, I'm a huge Testimony Tracks fan. I've been begging to be on the show.
We
So I'm
wanted to save the best for last.
amazing. I'm so glad to hear it. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here today. But yeah, I'm a preacher's kid. Definitely, I think I had a different experience than most though, because I think my dad was really good about not putting too much pressure on me. I never felt like I needed to be a certain way. He did a really good job of doing that. Also, all while setting a very good example for me to follow and a very good example of faith. I've always been very, you know, pushed and reminded of how to follow Christ and how to lead with wisdom because of his example. And my mom, being a minister's wife, she's also not a typical minister's wife. I love how outspoken she is. She's taught me a lot about independence. So growing up in the church was wonderful. I absolutely love my church family. And I am a preacher's kid, but I think I'm really thankful for my uniquer kind of experience with it. So yeah.
And you're off at college now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm at ACU.
So tell us a little bit about sort of your faith becoming your own as you've grown up and moved out. What has that been like?
So I've always been very independent, so I was really excited to go off to college, but I also absolutely love my family and just getting to be with them and stuff. So it was a hard transition for sure. I think I didn't even realize while I was going through it how hard it was. But I've always kind of wrestled with anxiety. So it's been really nice to get reassurance from my parents, and them just be in the next room. So I can walk over and be like, hey guys, I'm stressed. And then they can just kind of help me through it. But I learned to really, truly go to God first and for everything, which was a really good reminder. And just to kind of be put in away from them in that way, which obviously they're a phone call away. But it was really awesome just to be there on my own and really, truly understand what it looks like to rely on God first and foremost through everything. So that was a really cool thing I got to experience through freshman year.
What has that looked like in terms of like your time with God or spiritual practices? I mean, have you found that a certain way of praying or a certain pattern in your life has been helpful to you?
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, I always do Bible time and prayer journaling time before I go to bed because it's better than scrolling or watching TV or something. I think it calms me down, brings me a lot more peace, and then I wake up more peaceful. So I always really try to prioritize that. But something I love about being at college is that while I'm walking to class, I can just pray to God literally all day long. I really started having fun with that to the point where I would talk out loud and be like, oh no, I look crazy. So yeah, I think that's been a really fun thing is getting to kind of grow and shape my relationship with God and obviously make it my own. But I don't know. I guess as I've grown older, I've kind of seen God as more of a best friend and someone who's just truly always with me. and I've kind of started to understand the weight of that more. So
Mm.
it's been really cool.
Has there been a specific moment in your life where your faith became more of your faith than just the faith that your parents have taught you?
Yeah, for sure. I think when I was younger, obviously there's just the routine of it all. Like, okay, go to church. Like, oh my gosh, I know all the answers. Like, it's like all these little things. But definitely when I was younger and like at home, like especially specifically like sixth grade, middle school age, kind of, I think I had a lot more kind of struggles in my own life, and that kind of came out in like behavioral things in school. So I was very known to just I was a big talker, and so I'd get in trouble for that a lot. But I think I had moments of like behavioral issues and stuff like that, and then I kind of started to think about things a little bit differently. It was more of like I kind of started to think about the relationship with God over than just like the practices, the oh, I know the answers, like all this stuff. And I kind of started to do my own studying and my own research, because a lot of it used to be like, oh, like my dad said this, like, oh, I know this to be true. But it's like, do you actually know this to be true if you don't do your own studying? So I think eighth grade's where I really was like, I'm going to really choose to like dive in for myself and see what happens. And it was so awesome to get to do that, because I think that's when I truly felt the Holy Spirit, and I like saw it moving in my life in such cool ways. So I think middle school was just a very transformative time for my faith.
Mm.
Do you feel like there's anything you've had to unlearn?
Ooh. I would think, yeah, I think when I was just learning how to have like a relationship with God, I remember thinking of it as like a checklist kind of. I'm like, oh, okay, like my daily prayer, like, oh, I didn't read my Bible today. Like, oh no, like this is bad, like all this stuff. And I've definitely had to unlearn that, because I mean, I don't want to think about my relationships in life as a checklist. I don't want to be like, oh, I hung out with this person, check, I'm done. Like, that's just such a terrible way to think about things. So I think I was unlearning the to-do list of faith kind of, and making it more of like oh, like I want to spend time with God, and like I need him. I can't do this alone. So I think that's something I definitely had to think about differently.
So, after your first year of college, did you reach out or like did Brandon reach out? How did you become an intern? And then after that, how was the experience of being the only intern?
So I became Bammel's intern because Trinity, last summer's intern, is my good friend from my home church. We grew up together in the youth group. And after her summer with y'all, she texted me and was like, would you want me to put you down? She knows that I want to be in ministry, like, and she knows I've always wanted to be a youth intern. So I was like, of course you can, like, this is a great thing, whatever. So I got my interview, and then it went really well. It was a very chill interview, Brandon, very chill. Wasn't too much pressure on anything. So that went super good. And then I basically got the job in September of like 2025. Yeah. So he gave me the job, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And I like didn't know what to expect, but I was super excited. This time was very confusing, I think, because I was like, I just said yes, and I was like, okay, excited, whatever. But then, as it got closer, I think there's a lot more like fears trickling in. I was like, oh, like this is about to happen. Like, am I old enough for this? Like, kind of those kind of questions. And then I got to Bammel, and I was just immediately filled with so much excitement and like expectance of the summer. And I was like, I just know that whatever happens, I'm going to learn a lot. Like, I didn't even have any like, oh, like it'll be great, it'll be bad. Like, I was just like, I know I'm going to learn a lot. And I can confidently say now that I've had the best summer of my life. Like, all honesty, it's been amazing. And obviously there's challenges with being the only intern, but I've really loved it, because it gives me an opportunity to be able to connect with everyone in such a unique way. And I think the pastoral side of ministry is where I thrive the most. So that's been really cool to have the field and the openness of really getting to connect with everyone. So I've absolutely loved it. Everett knows the students are chaotic, they're crazy, lots of fun.
We have no idea what we're doing most of the time.
But it's so much fun. They're amazing. So it's been a great summer. And honestly, if I could be a youth intern for the rest of my life, I will.
What are you studying at ACU?
I am a Bible major. So
Okay.
Bible major.
Yes, I am children and family ministries. And I'm kind of at the point right now where I'm a little split between going into children's ministry or youth ministry.
You
But
should do youth ministry.
thank you. I definitely am like split, but I don't need to know right now. So
No,
it's okay.
you don't need to
It's
know
a
right now. I
sign.
don't-
If this summer is the best summer you've ever had in your life, then it's a sign that you should do youth ministry.
This is true, but I haven't done a children's ministry internship yet. So I got to compare.
Okay. So there's this one week in the summer. This is my favorite week, but it was the week where none of us knew what we were doing, and all of us got sick somehow. So, what's your favorite memory from Honduras?
I think Everett, you said this last night. We had like the going away party, and he gave a shout out to the 9-step plan. So, long story short, Gavin, one of the students, would draw a plan for every day, and it would always include a drawing of Brandon. I won't talk too much about that drawing, but it was great because it'd be like before lights out, sometimes a little bit past lights out, and we'd just be like sitting around laughing at these pictures, and it was so funny. And I think that was definitely like funniest moment. I think overall though, like the coolest moment was getting to like be with the boys all week. We were at Jovenis and Camino, and it was just a really great experience getting to build connections with them and like be filled with so much joy just being around them and like really seeing the Lord's love there. So lots of laughs, very chaotic week, lots of sicknesses, but service is obviously the main point of why we were there. And I think we gave a lot, but we got a lot more. So it was a really great week.
Speaking of the pictures of Brandon that we won't describe in detail, Everett told me that I have to be nice. So I asked David what the worst thing is about working with Brandon. But we were going to ask you, what's the best thing about working with Brandon Trees?
You have to keep him listening.
Yeah, we don't want Brandon to become a hater of the podcast.
No, he has to stay tuned.
You can't have him to be a critic.
I do remember David's answer to this question and laughing a lot when I heard it. I was like, wow, that's intense.
Brandon just appreciates the finer things, you know.
He does. He really does. I would think, the best thing, definitely, I mentioned this earlier, he is a very chill boss. Like, he doesn't put too much pressure on you. He doesn't have all these huge expectations, but obviously he pushes you and wants you to do the best. So he's been a great mentor, and he has lots of wisdom, and he's been a great encourager too. I think I really do like words of affirmation. I don't even know if I told him that, but he's really great at like encouraging and kind of just pushing you to be the best version of yourself. But all that is like really great. Probably the best part is that genuinely, like if I need a laugh, I can just talk to Brandon. Because I've said this before. I think I told Brandon this, but like I think I'll say something funny and then like he'll come back and make it funnier. And I'm like, okay, so like I'm done talking because like you just made it funnier and nothing I said was funny because you just made it funnier. So yeah, always lots of joy in the office, and he is the best boss ever. So yeah.
All
right. This question just popped into my mind. So it's about the 9-step plan. For 3 days, there's usually a main character. The first one was on my birthday, and I think the main character would be Brandon because he was always lurking in the back of the pictures. And then the second one was David becoming Dave, and the audience already knows what Dave is. The third one, I had the idea. It was me stretching to my limits and basically becoming the tallest guy in the youth group. Now, which one of those was your favorite? And if you can describe your thoughts of all three, share with the audience.
Okay, I will share my thoughts and then pick my favorite. So for Brandon, his face just kept getting longer. And I was like, wow, how much more can we do with this? Like, I don't know what's next. That was very interesting. I always was like, I'm excited to see what Brandon's face is going to look like whenever he walks in and sees this for the day. Always, he wasn't very joyful and excited to see it. You know, David turning into Dave was cinematic. That's all I'm going to say. Cinematic masterpiece. That was beautiful. And then all I can think about for you, Everett, was the picture of you on your birthday, like sitting on the table. You were like,
that's not the one I'm talking about.
You're talking about the one where you were really tall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts on that? You know, you once again, same with Brandon. I was like, how much taller can we get? You know? But the one that stuck with me the most was the birthday one. I thought that one was, you know, Gavin had some interesting thought processes. But
yeah.
Then my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, probably Dave. It was just a beautiful story. I mean, come on.
I had a lot of comments saying how step 9, the one with me elongating, I looked like I came from the back rooms.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to reel in the inside jokes a little bit and try to get us back on track here. So, Loralai, we talked about you wanting to go into ministry, being undecided between children's and youth ministry. I'm curious if there has been a time where you feel like your like understanding of ministry or vision has shifted at all, the way you think about ministry. Like, has there been kind of a change based on anything you've experienced so far?
Yeah, I think before this summer, like, and before like going, I just, you know, being an intern all summer, I kind of like led in the way I minister to others, like with like a lot of like comparison in mind. Like I would compare myself to a lot of like other, you know, ministers I knew. And I kind of like got into this like battle with my head a little bit where I'm like, oh, like, you know, there's some things I could work on. Obviously, like, I'm like, you know, there's ways I could be more responsible. There's ways like I can not laugh as much, like little things like that. But I think the beautiful thing about ministry is how unique it is to you and like to everyone. And that's like the purpose of it is like, obviously every minister is meant to be different. And so like, why would I compare when I have good skills? That person I'm comparing myself to has great skills too, but we just are different ministers, you know? And we connect with others in different ways. So I think I really learned, you know, the beauty behind how unique ministry is. And also like, let's not compare. Like it really just takes away from being a minister when we let ourselves get into those thought cycles. So
yeah.
All right. So now, Laura, I've got one question for you. Are you ready? Are you ready to hop into the studio, go in the booth, and give this audience a little taste of what we like to call the track record?
I'm so ready.
All right. First question. What is the best concert you have ever been to?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Not a lot of people know him, but Joshua Bassett, he was in High School Musical, the series, the longest time.
Now, I think a lot of people know who that is.
He's not as popular as Olivia Rodrigo, and people know them associated together. So I went to that concert going into senior year of high school. I went with like one of my best friends, and it was just such a fun night. We were in the pit, wasn't a lot of people there, so it wasn't like a really crazy experience. But I am about to go see Megan Maroney, who's my favorite singer of all time. She's a country singer. About to see her on August 14th. So my answer may be changing because that's really exciting.
All right. What's a surprising talent that you have?
I can lick my elbow.
Oh.
So,
too bad this is an audio-only podcast.
Show y'all.
Will you ever become a counselor at Kadish?
Ooh. As exciting as it sounds, I am going to try to do all the internships at churches I can do. So probably won't be, sadly.
Oh.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I had a friend tell me like in like 4th grade, like I was really sad about something. And she was like, oh, like if you just like don't cry, you won't want to cry anymore. And so she's basically was just telling me to suppress my emotions.
Just shove it deep, deep down.
Yes, the floor here is made out of floor.
So yeah, not the best advice, but we live and we learn.
Okay. If you had a walk-up song, what would it be?
Ooh. I wish I knew the answer to this. Oh, probably the Bluey theme song. I absolutely love Bluey.
Nice. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I really don't like it when people are rude to waiters or waitresses, like, and they just kind of act like they don't exist. I don't
Have
like
you
that.
ever waited?
No, I haven't.
So this is not personal.
No.
What is a hobby or interest of yours that would surprise those listening to us?
I don't think a lot of people know this, but I love to read poetry, but I also love to write poetry. Like, I really like to write, like, kind of like Psalms kind of poems, like, you know, faith-based poems. But it's just fun for me. It's a good way to, like, release my thoughts. So, fun fact.
Can we also talk about the fact that you like ASMR mukbang too?
Yes, this is true.
Whenever it was little, when he would get like in a tantrum, it sounded like the Book of Lamentations. He could just speak in like lament psalm, or I mean,
That's
it was
amazing.
biblical.
Vanity,
Wow.
vanity, all is vanity.
Y'all should compare
wait,
some
that's Ecclesiastes.
personally written psalms sometime.
What a gift. Oh my.
I would tell him, like, you know, you can't have another glass of milk. And he would be like, God curse the day of my birth.
Oh my goodness. It's so deep. Everything.
No wonder I relate to Job a little bit. Any final words you have for those listening?
I guess I would say if you are interested in ministry or if you're just like going through life, I would say just truly like if you have a a call or a tug on your heart to do something, do it. You're not going to always like conquer everything the first time you do it, but it's so good to get experience and like put yourself out there, and then like it can be just like the most wonderful thing ever. Like this summer, the summer I just had, it was amazing. So, put yourself out there, do the things, and don't let fear stop you from doing what you want to do.
That's great advice. I'm glad we
All
got
right.
to be a part of your summer.
Yes, no, I'm glad I got to meet y'all. This is great. Got to make my debut,
You're going to be super famous after this. I mean, you could probably be the children's or youth minister at any church you want to now. They'll come knocking.
Probably get more downloads than David has right now. You probably get like 100 in
Those are
like
fighting
30
words. We're
days.
going to have to see.
Wow. I mean, I'm really
I can't
so.
promise that, but
yeah, we'll see.
That might happen. Anyways,
It might.
that's a wrap on this episode of Testimony Tracks. So if today's conversation meant anything to you, follow the show wherever you listen. You can find us on Instagram at Real Testimony Tracks or by email at show@testimonytracks.com. Show notes and more episodes are at testimonytracks.com. Remember, it always gets harder after freshman year. Follow us, tell a friend, and we'll catch you on the next track.